morning. Yeah? Did you drink enough coffee? Okay, if you didn't, there's more where that came from. So how many of you in your life thought at some point that networking was sleazy? Just at some point, right? It's a little bit weird. But how many of you guys came to network today? All right, cool. We're going to do that. So we're going to do that right now, and I'm going to start. Hi, I'm Sophia. Nice to meet you guys. Welcome to the 4th ever Girlboss rally. Yeah. And now I want you to introduce yourselves to one another just to kind of break the ice, because that's what we're here to do today. So turn to the person next to you and to the right of you. It's kind of Catholic. And behind you. Okay. Cool. That's like the happiest sound I think I've ever heard. Like, that's like the coolest sound in the history of Girlboss, I think, that's ever happened in this room. And that's what we came here to do today. So you just met someone. If you see them later in the bathroom or whatever, say hi. And if you didn't just meet them, do it anyway, because every opportunity to meet someone new is an opportunity to expand your business, make a friend, and saying no or not just going out there and introducing yourself to someone, as awkward as it can be, doesn't really open any new doors for you. And you may have come alone, but we all know that you didn't come to be alone. And if you did come alone to be alone, if you did come to be alone, too late, because you already met someone. And yeah, sorry to disappoint you. And while I've gotten over the fact that networking has felt kind of sleazy at different times in my career, networking itself, and the word really is not sleazy to me. So from here on out, let's call it community, because that's what Girlboss is. But first I want you to remember what it was like before you had a community, and before you had access to the community that we have here today. And maybe this is your first time being part of a community. And if it is, you know what this feels like. And I remember what that was like for me. And I want to share that with you right now. So this is me. I'm 21 years old. I live in a tiny studio apartment in San Francisco. This is my closet, which also doubled as an office. And by office, I don't mean a place where I actually worked. I just mean a place where I shuffled my CDs around. And at this point in my life, I kept jobs for about 5 minutes at a time. I had no idea what a career was, and I thought the best thing ever was to do the least amount of work possible for the most amount of work possible. And by most money, I mean like $10 an hour. And I worked at a photo lab, a record store, a costume shop where I helped Burning Man people buy crazy costumes and a lot of goggles. And I worked at a luxury shoe store where I sold $600 shoes to the daughters of really rich ladies. That was fun. And of course, after a few months, I got fired from that job. And then I got this thing called a hernia, which, if you don't know, is like a bump that pokes through your muscle, and it was kind of in my groin. So I had this lump in my pants that I thought was actually pretty funny. But in reality, it was something I had to get fixed. And to get it fixed, I had to get health insurance. And to get health insurance, I had to get a job. So I got a job in the lobby of the Academy of Art University in San Francisco at 79 New Montgomery Street. Did anybody go to this school? Cool, one person. And since it was my dream to work alone, and clearly I wanted to be alone because I couldn't even see through these bangs, a lobby was perfect. So there I was, intentionally bored out of my mind, dicking around on MySpace, probably changing my top 8 once in an hour and upsetting my friends. Do you guys remember MySpace? You remember? I don't know how young you guys are. And I started getting friend requests from eBay sellers who were promoting their businesses on MySpace. So I clicked through, and I was shocked by how much their auctions were going for. And I knew I could find this stuff at a thrift store for much cheaper. And so I thought, hey, I'm gonna get my hernia fixed and I'm gonna try this eBay thing out. And I did. So I bought a used MacBook Pro on Craigslist, my first laptop, really exciting, and I discovered Photo Booth. This is the moment I bought the laptop, I'm in my Volvo, I crack the thing open, I'm so stoked that it has some charge in it. And I have a lot of these, I have several. I thought I'm not gonna show you more than one. I was gonna click through many of them and they're equally hideous. So I'm moving on up in the world, right? And with that, I uploaded my first listings. I was the model because often people wouldn't show up because I was only paying them in hamburgers. And it worked. And to do that work, I needed space. So I moved from my tiny, beautiful Edwardian apartment in San Francisco to a pool house in my step-aunt's backyard, an hour away from all of my friends. This was the view from my desk. Photo booth also served as my full-length mirror. I have no kitchen, that's a hot plate and a toaster oven and Joe's O's, you know, Cheerios that you get at Trader Joe's, and then this chair that I'm pretty sure had mold growing in it. And it grew, and it kept growing. And then I found Nita on MySpace, of course. She was a gorgeous 5'9" girl who showed up even though I really still only paid her in hamburgers and nice photos for her Instagram profile. She was probably on Model Mayhem, if you know what that is. And I bought a flash and a nice white piece of paper, and it started to look better. Oh, Nita. I used to joke that Nita could sell a dirty diaper. She looked so cool and everything, at least for 2007. And so it kept growing, dirty diaper aside, and I needed more space. And I'm still enjoying Photo Booth here and still entertaining myself with the most hideous photos ever. And I was onto something. Even though I wasn't doing as little work as possible, I was making money and still got to be by myself. But I was getting tired of eBay. So I left. I launched nastygalvintage.com and everything sold out immediately. I knew it would take me days to ship these orders, steam, shoot, edit, measure, and weigh another 150 items to put on this website. So I shipped my orders off, packed my shit up, and went to Las Vegas to my first trade show called Magic. I think a lot of you guys have probably, woo, I mean, it's kind of fun. I feel like it's a lot of drinking and a lot of walking. And this allowed me to scale the business in ways I never knew were possible. I could sell 5 dresses and only take 1 photo. It was amazing. And I love vintage, but the clothes were doing the work. And this is kind of the beauty of technology now. And then so over the next 2 years, I saved $1 million in cash, which is crazy. There's like 800 and something thousand in the business checking account, and I think I have like, I don't know, like 8,000 in my personal account. I have a $2,500 credit limit, which is like still, I mean, in your early 20s, no one will give you credit. And so in 2012, venture capitalists came knocking. In 2 rounds, we raised $49 million. And they valued our company that was doing $28 million in revenue at the time at $350 million, which was kind of the nail in the coffin, because then you have to sell your company for over 300 or a multiple of $350 million. And we pulled a number out of the sky. We said, let's just round up from 28 million to 128 million. And serious, I'm not kidding, that was our goal. And we hired 100 people. This is the 100 people. We got a beautiful office space. And it kept growing fast. I got a cool office. We sold even better vintage. We launched a collection and put it on a magazine that we made called Super Nasty. Rihanna wore our clothes. We did a collaboration with MAC Cosmetics. We opened 2 stores. We collaborated with Courtney Love, and people were obsessed. That's a tattoo. It's pretty crazy. And I was the poster child, literally, but found myself alone. Alone at the conferences, often the youngest, usually one of only a few women. And I asked myself who my peers were. Whoops. I asked myself who my peers were, and no matter where I looked, I couldn't really find them. And I was tired of being lonely. And I knew there were more girls out there like you guys who were starting businesses with the tools that are available. Squarespace and Shopify and Gusto, and Etsy didn't exist when I launched Nasty Gal, Instagram and Facebook. And I thought there's gotta be more of me out there. And so I wrote a book for her. And then I came looking for you. I boarded a bus that I called the Girlboss and took it to 10 cities and traveled the United States. And I found you in the thousands. Whoops, that's Reese Witherspoon. I found you in the thousands. And then Reese Witherspoon found me. But really, there were so many cool, smart, talented women who came out for the book. And while you thought I was busy signing books, I was actually watching you. I was watching you exchange business cards while you were waiting to get your book signed. And so back I went on a high to grow my business over the next couple years. And then this happened. Totally surreal. Forbes put me on the cover of their magazine. They said I was richer than Beyonce, which I'm totally not. I returned that dress that I wore on the cover of Forbes. Like, have the tag still on it. It's Balmain, so I mean, it's pretty expensive. I can't believe Net-a-Porter still lets me shop with them. But what you can't see here is that I'm struggling. Here I'm more alone than I've ever been. And actually, I'm literally alone because those two ladies were photoshopped onto the cover with me. And I was 8 years in. I'd gotten exhausted by the role of CEO, and I'd stepped back from the day-to-day of the operations and let seasoned executives run my business. Listen, I'm a really fast learner, but the curve I needed to learn to be successful was just too steep. I'm at the theoretical top, but this wasn't success for me. My company was struggling. I was struggling. We'd gone through 2 rounds of layoffs. And here's where it gets surreal. Netflix is making a series about my life. They're going to put into 150 million homes in 195 countries in pretty much every language in the world. And I had no idea what kind of shape I or my company would be in when this hit. And then things went from surreal to psychedelic. I'm in Australia promoting my second book, Nasty Galaxy, and have to make a board call from across the world to make the very difficult but strangely responsible decision, believe it or not, to send Nasty Gal into Chapter 11. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's a nice word for bankruptcy. You can laugh, like it's totally okay. People are like, whew. It's been 2 years. I'm like, I've healed like 90%. Headlines are hitting as I'm in front of 1,000 women on stage in a country on the other side of the world. I'm crying in front of them. I say, I did my best, and I did. And to add insult to injury, it also happened after the day Trump was elected. I'd gotten everything I ever dreamed of, but I was the loneliest I'd ever been. And I'm the girl boss. The people who bought the company offered me a huge salary to stay, but Girlboss had become so much bigger than me, bigger than you, bigger than all of us. And the funny thing is that while you were there all along, building the Girlboss community, while I was out there thinking I was alone. So I traded the high heels, the champagne clinks, and the fashion parties, and followed my heart. And I ran straight into the community that I found at Barnes & Noble back in 2014. You guys built a community that I and the amazing team here at Girlboss are just here to catch. We've got our mitt. We're just catching you guys 4.5 years later. We've been working our asses off to bring the feeling that we have every day, not just here to everyone in the room, but to every smart, curious woman with big dreams everywhere. Call it a network, call it community. What I'm about to share with you is possibly the proudest moment of my life. We think a lot about community here at Girlboss, and I wanted to show you guys first because you've been here with us all along. So here it is. Welcome to the Girlboss community. This is for you. Not 100 of you, not 1,000 of you, but 100,000, a million, millions. The Girlboss community is a membership-based platform for people who take their work, but not themselves, seriously. Create a gorgeous profile where you can share more than just a resume. Let it become the link in bio that you use to share not just what you do, but who you are. Connect, even possibly network, with the most interesting women in the world. Ask and answer questions, and we've already seen you ask questions like, I have 3 logos, can you guys help me choose one? To, my website isn't converting, can you guys click around and tell me where you're getting hung up? Or, I don't own the .com to my website, just the .co, and the .com's $2,000. Is .co acceptable? Watch 80 hours of video content from the Girlboss rallies and beyond, with today's brightest luminaries and startups just on their way. We have hundreds of hours of podcast content and so much more. So we're currently in beta. We have like 50 users, and we're tooling around and improving things. It's very much an MVP, which is a minimum viable product in technology terms. So expect to hear more soon. Expect to see more in the next few months, and you can sign up for early access at community.girlboss.com. Pretty exciting, right? What do you guys think? Okay, so back to the present. We're here now. Welcome to the Girlboss Rally. This week we'll host 1,000 women from 31 countries. Hear 100 of the most inspiring thought leaders of our time, have an incredible bazaar filled entirely with women-owned businesses, a bookstore, lots of coffee, and more. Thank you guys so much for being here. I know many of you have traveled far and wide. Thank you to the Girlboss team and our producers at Makeout. And we were stuffing gift bags far into the night last night, so I hope you really like them. And I'll see you guys later. Thank you.